Hey, what's going on everybody? Happy Friday. Today is March 26th. My name is Ryan. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to be talking a lot about the EIDL loan and what's been changing lately. And there's a lot of changes here. But first, if you're new here, I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel and hit the little bell for your notifications. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you again for joining me. Definitely leave me some comments below and let me know what you think. I will try my best to respond to them, and I'm sorry I've not been responding to the comments because it is also tax season, in which we are busy as shit. So apologize if I don't respond, but do leave me a comment anyway, all right? So today I'm primarily gonna be talking about the EIDL loan and the changes and the updates going on there. But there's also a small update for the PPP and for the RRF, the Restaurant Revitalization Fund, that I will go over, okay? But first, on to the EIDL. All right, so I'm a couple weeks late on this, but the SBA did announce that they are extending the deferment period of the EIDL loan payments. So originally, they were deferred for a year. Payments were deferred for 1 year, okay, from when you got your loan funded. Now they're deferring it until 2022. So you have the EIDL, you don't have to start paying it until at least 2022. I believe they're giving a 24-month deferral period if you got your loan in 2020. And if you're receiving your loan in 2021, you might get an 18-month deferral period, okay? So I think that's what's going on there. So that's huge, but just keep in mind, you're still accruing interest if you're not paying the loan. So, you know, if you can pay it off, I recommend you start making payments on it voluntarily so you can reduce the amount of interest that you are accruing. But if you absolutely can't, then just know you have more relief there. All right, so now for the big change for the EIDL loan. And I know I'm also a day or two late on this, but the SBA has announced that they're increasing the maximum loan amounts from $150,000 to $500,000. Okay, then that's a huge shift. A spokeswoman from the SBA said that although the EIDL loan has been helping people, the pandemic is lasting longer than they expected. So they're offering a larger loan amount, and they're offering a larger economic injury period. So what does that even mean? Okay, so when we first applied for the EIDL back in 2020, the SBA was using a 6-month economic injury calculation to calculate how big your loan's gonna be. Now they're going to use a 24-month calculation, or 2 years. So they're increasing the limits and they're increasing the economic injury factor. So this change will take place April 6th. And so what does that mean for you if you just applied? Like, what does it mean for people who already applied and got approved? Well, I'll tell you right now. If you just applied for the EIDL and your loan has not been approved yet, it's still in the process. If you get approved after April 6th, 2021, then you will automatically be considered with these new guidelines, okay? So you're gonna be automatically considered for the 24-month economic injury and the $500,000 loan limits, okay? Now, if you were already approved, if you already got funded before, you can still request a larger loan amount. You know, this is not like the thing that happened with the PPP where if you're on top of it, then you kind of got penalized as a Schedule C filer. No, you're actually gonna be able to request a larger loan amount this time. Now the SBA, a spokesperson from the SBA did say that you will likely receive an email directly from the SBA to kind of start the process if you need more funding. I recommend not only waiting for that, but at least emailing the SBA to try to get the process started, to reconsider, to ask for a larger loan amount after April 6th, okay? So that's the keys. You gotta wait till after April 6th in order for this to all take place. Okay, so what does this mean in practice? Let's say you already got an EIDL loan and now these changes take place, and you know, what does this mean for you, okay? So your first thought might be, well, your loan didn't even come close to $150,000. Now they're increased the limit to $500,000. This doesn't affect you. Well, actually, yes, this still does affect you, okay? Because remember, like I said, they increased the economic injury calculation from 6 months to 24 months. So what does that mean? So when you first applied for this loan back in 2020, the SBA asked you for your gross profit, which is your gross revenue minus your cost of goods sold, okay? So let's say your gross profit was $120,000. So they're gonna use an economic injury period of 6 months. That means they're gonna take $120,000 of gross profit for the year, they're going to divide that by 2 because that would be 6 months out of the year. That means your loan amount will be $60,000. $60,000 is not anywhere near the $150,000 limit. So now they're increasing the economic injury period to 24 months. So let's say now your gross profits, same thing, is $120,000 from the original numbers you submitted to the SBA. Now your economic injury period is 24 months. So you want to take that number, multiply it by 2. That's $240,000. Okay? So now that is your new economic injury. So if you already received $60,000, theoretically you should be offered another $180,000. Okay? That's at least how I interpret this is going to work. And based on what the SBA is saying and stuff. That's how I interpret it. So even if you didn't get anywhere close to the $150,000 limit initially, this will still affect you. I believe you will still likely be able to get more money if you need it. Okay? So don't blow it off. If you need the money, just hang tight, wait until April 6th for the SBA to reach out to you, or wait till April 6th to email them to request a reconsideration for a larger loan. So just real quick to go over that calculation again for your gross margin. It's your revenue minus cost of goods sold. The old method is you divide it by 2. This new calculation, you're going to multiply it by 2, and that's your economic injury amount. Okay, and that should be your loan amount. All right, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Restaurant Revitalization Funds, the RRF. And this is going to be a grant, basically, from the SBA to restaurant owners and businesses. That's, because we know restaurants were heavily hit during the pandemic. They want to give as much assistance to them as possible. They make up a lot of our economy. Like, they're just a big part of culture, the economy, and all that stuff. So I think the SBA is trying to support them as much as possible. So this fund is going to be for restaurants only, and it's going to be based on the amount of revenue that you lost between 2019 and 2020. Okay? Now, I haven't done much research on this grant. I've done a little bit of research, so I don't know specifics. So I'm just going to tell you the general stuff that I know. So it's going to be based on loss of revenue. Okay? It's going to be a grant, so you don't have to pay it back. I still don't know if it's going to be taxable or not. The maximum grant per entity is going to be $10 million. Pretty damn significant. It's like the original PPP, like $10 million loan maximum that's forgivable. So this is going to be just for restaurants, $10 million grants. From what I've been researching, and I haven't done like deep research, but it's going to be, the revenue loss that you experienced between 2019 and 2020. I believe the grant is going to be that amount. It's going to be like a 1-to-1 amount. The SBA is planning on opening up this grant and the application for this grant early April. So stay tuned for that, and I will update more later on when I found out more about this grant, or when I do more research about this grant. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to be talking about today is the PPP. As you probably know by now, the House and the Senate have passed a bill for the extension of the PPP, and that's going to be from March 31st, which is the current deadline, to May 31st. Okay, it's going to give 2 more months, which is good, because from what we've been seeing a lot of nonsense lenders, not approving loans or declining loans, and then loan numbers getting stuck in the SBA system, so people can't apply at a different bank. It's just been kind of a mess lately, so I'm glad they're giving an extension. That's all I'm going to be talking about this video. Stay tuned next week. I kind of want to do a video on important and beneficial changes for the 2020 tax season. I know it's in the middle of this tax season right now, but I think it would be good for you all to know some of the changes that the CARES Act implemented and the American Rescue Plan implemented that will affect your 2020 taxes, and things that you might not know already, okay? Since we've been so focused on these stimulus packages and stuff, like, I think it's going to be important to get back to some tax laws that are going to definitely affect you, okay? So that's all I got for today. Thanks for joining me. Again, my name is Ryan. Thanks for watching my channel. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to my channel, as I will be keeping you all up to date with all this crap. And then obviously stay safe out there, and I'll see you next week. I hit the function, hit the rose till I hiccup. I hit the stage and leave with money that's a sticker.
She picture perfect, so I told him I'ma flick up. Bill, I'm in the mood for a change up. I leave the city and return with my change up.